The North Pole was exactly what Hunter would have imagined it was supposed to look like, if he'd ever taken a moment to imagine that it actually existed. The main building, Tinsel informed him as they neared it, was referred to as Christmas Central. According to the elf, it housed Santa's main offices, toy testing areas, toy production workshops, the entire wrapping department, elf administration offices, an infirmary, and a cafeteria. So everything is essentially here, Hunter confirmed. Tinsel and Raps exchanged glances and then shrugged.
I guess you could say that.
Hunter pointed to a series of gaily painted cottages. What are those buildings?
Home sweet home to every elf here,
Raps said.
Plus, Santa's family lives in a series of cottages, too.
This surprised Hunter. Santa has a family? This question earned him a funny look from both elves.
Of course,
Tinsel said.
He's married to Mrs. Claus. They have 2 children, a daughter named Carol and a son named Nicholas. Saint Nick,
Raps clarified.
That's what everyone calls him. He'll be the next Santa Claus one day.
Hunter glanced at Eve to see if she had heard the same thing, but she was intently studying their surroundings, her expression somewhere between stunned and shocked. But he was a few steps ahead of her in grasping the reality of the situation. The North Pole was real, which meant Santa Claus existed. All along he'd been tempted to believe this was a colossal practical joke, but the scale of it all was too great for that to be remotely possible. They were at the North Pole. Mind-blowing. There wasn't another way to describe it. When they reached the main building, Raps and Tinsel each took a hold of a brass door handle and pulled open the doors at the same time.
Welcome to Christmas Central,
they chorused in unison. As they stepped over the threshold, both Hunter and Eve stopped to stare. Dozens. No, surely there must be hundreds of elves in bright-colored uniforms bustled from one side of the cavernous hall to another. Many of them carried armfuls of gaily wrapped presents. Others pushed trolley carts full of wrapping supplies. A magnificent 30-foot Christmas tree stood proudly at the center of the room. Music speakers attached to the ceiling piped in holiday tunes. The room was a riot of color and a beehive of activity. "Hunter, look!" Eve pointed up to a large digital clock display against the far wall.
That's our countdown to Christmas clock,
Tinsel said, with more than a trace of pride in his voice.
Which, I'll point out, serves as a reminder that we don't have any time to waste. Follow me.
Eve Bennington, look at you, all grown up into such a lovely young woman. Santa Claus clapped his white-gloved hands together and beamed at her. Wait until Mrs. Claus sees you. She'll be delighted. Eve's only response to Santa's enthusiastic greeting was to blink. It was all she could manage. Either Santa Claus really did exist, or she was trapped in the longest dream known to humankind. She stared into Santa's twinkling blue eyes. Kindness and good humor radiated from the man, and his words made it sound as if he knew her. Correction, as if he'd known her for years. She turned to Hunter to gaze his reaction. He looked perfectly at ease as he shook Santa's outstretched hand. Thank you for sending a sleigh for us, Mr. Claus. Call me Santa, please. He ushered them into his inner office and toward a round conference table set not far from the fireplace. I thought you 2 kids might want to warm up before we start talking about my niece's wedding. Following Hunter's lead, Eve removed her jacket and took a seat at the table. She didn't try to hide her curiosity as she looked around Santa's office.